Peace and good afternoon. I'd like to welcome you back to another edition of the Five Playland. As always, I'm your Five Player, and I'm coming at you with another draft video. In this video, I want to do another player comparison as to who I believe is better between my top two cornerback picks in the draft right now, which is Ahmad Gardner and Derick Stingley. I think a lot of people have Stingley as the consensus number one overall, and I may agree with you to a degree, but as a draft tactician per se, if the picks were mine in this draft, who I would pick, where I would pick them, and this is more in the sense of me being a Jets and Giants fan, and it also works conveniently for me, being that the Jets and Giants are going to be picking right near each other with both their first and second picks in the first round, because they both have draft picks from the Bears and the Seahawks for the Giants and Jets respectively, and they all happen to be grouped up in the same area as of today. So let me get right into it. Right now, as it stands, the Jets would be picking number 5, and there's a good chance, either 4 or 5. There's a good chance that Derick Stingley might be there at that pick, because I see maybe Willis going top 3. I mean, a lot of people don't agree with me there, but there's a good chance of doing that. I think that a lot of people are going to look into Thibodeau a lot and either take Hutchinson above him or pass on Thibodeau. I mean, a team like the Lions or more so the Texans might see all the physical capabilities of Malik Willis and want to take him. Malik Willis is my quarterback number 1 in this draft so far. But so with the Giants and the Jets right now, like if per se they're picking 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, and 7, yeah, or 5, 6, 7, 8, like with the 4 picks that they do own as of today. Like, would I, having the first of those picks, take Derick Stingley? My answer is no. Well, for the Jets, they have good success at the cornerback position, even though it's a lot of spare parts. A lot of the cornerback vacancies that they had last year, they didn't address them in free agency. They let Poole go. And now they have a lot of young people playing there. Now, to the Jets' credit, those young people are playing outstanding for what I anticipate. They played a lot better than I anticipated. Now, the Giants have a lot of older big money contracts still with them for years to come, like with Dory Jackson and I can't name them off the top of my head right now. Head injury. But you get the point. Like, I think that if the Giants were to draft somebody that high, that they would have to start him off the rip, and that would create a little bit of a problem as far as having to cut somebody and eating on some dead cap. I don't know what their cap situation is as it relates to these contracts, but I'm pretty sure there's some sort of issue where it's more convenient to keep the people that they have on contract. So for both teams, it's almost like it would be a little bit of a pass for me with Stingley. Even though I think Stingley is the most physically talented cornerback in this draft, a lot of his fanfare goes back to his freshman year. Now, he did take a step back this year, but LSU sucks. I mean, let's face it. I thought LSU wasn't going to be that good, but they're a lot worse than I anticipated. They're a mess. So, I mean, for a player that's going to be a consensus number 5 overall draft pick, he could have been number 5 overall last year if he would have gone into the draft. But for a player of that caliber and then to go back to a team that sucks like LSU, and not to say that LSU always sucks. I mean, but this year LSU sucks. I don't care how you paint it. I see the reason as to why he's not playing up to snuff. Now, Ahmad Gardner, on the other hand, I think he has more of the size factor against Stingley. Even though Stingley's super quick, and Stingley, if he wants to be stuck on you, you ain't going anywhere. But Ahmad Gardner, I like what he does on the line of scrimmage when he's playing stuck on his receiver. He seems to push him around where he wants to. He's just a real strong cat. But the only thing is that the Cincinnati Bearcats, one, they play nickel a lot, but two, they have Kobe Bryant, a senior in this year's class too, who's coming into the draft. Who I think he's a fifth year senior too. But he's on the other side of Gardner. In addition to the fact that they have a decent backfield, Arquan Bush is pretty good, who they usually have playing in the nickel. Javon Hicks is okay. All those guys are like older too. Like out of when they play nickel, three of the five cats in the secondary for Cincinnati are seniors. So I mean, like the younger cats, Arquan Bush and Ahmad Gardner are juniors. So they're the young cats, and that juniors still pretty old for college age. But and then on top of that, the Cincinnati Bearcats have a really good pass rush in Majai Sanders that's helping these other cats in the secondary. Um, like as far as upkeeping a standard, like that whole defense is pretty good. In addition to that, the whole Cincinnati Bearcats, I mean, they're a good team. They're a good team. So I mean, like you could expect Ahmad Gardner to play lights out. But if I were the Jets or the Giants, I mean, like personally, like I'd rather make that pick after I traded down, because I don't think that Ahmad Gardner may go ahead of like Khair Elam. I don't know why. Khair Elam takes a lot of plays off. I mean, he's almost as physically talented as Stingley, but Khair Elam doesn't look like his head is into it. But again, that's another case of Stingley. Like, I mean, I thought Florida would be a lot better this year too, and they stink. So I can't pick who's the better talent. Depends on what you like. I mean, like if you want a lot of nickel packages, or you want to introduce Ahmad Gardner into the league slower. I mean, yeah, he'd probably be the better pick later on. Like, I think that there's better talent overall at the top of the draft to be taking a cornerback, unless you're in love with him. And I mean, do I love Stingley? Yes, but there's a lot of good cornerbacks in this class. I love the pass rushers in this class far more. If you had a chance at Hutchinson, at Thibodeau, that pass rusher from Florida State. I mean, I was watching tape on him last night. He's nasty. Um, I and if the need were there for my team, like it is for the Jets especially, but also for the Giants, like as far as the need for pass rush, I would take one of those guys ahead of the cornerbacks in this class, especially when you have two picks. I mean, you could opt to trade down on one of those two picks and pick in the teens and try to get yourself, a Tyler Linderbaum or one of these tackles in this class. This class is tackles. To me, they're okay. Some of them, they're not all that. And the Giants need every position on the offensive line, so that's an option. Not to say that the Jets' offensive line is much better. It is better, but would they bypass Linderbaum with their second pick, or if they trade down that second pick? I don't think they would. So yeah, it's hard to pick, but I like Sauce Gardner a lot. I mean, like, you watch that Notre Dame game. I mean, he destroyed them. Like, Sauce Gardner is a really, really short tackler. He looks like a linebacker back there too. Like I'm not gonna say that I would experiment with playing him at a safety spot, because that's kind of corny. Because I think he, at the very least, is gonna be a number 2 cornerback in the league, worst case scenario. But who knows? I mean, like, Ahmad Gardner's team has the chance of making the playoffs if they just hold to par and like win their bowl game. But what's he gonna be like going into the Giants or the Jets that are in a constant state of team turmoil? When you go from a team that is a underdog and is now potentially gonna make the college football playoffs for the first time, and then going to a team like New York Jets or Giants where it's kind of like a disaster. So I don't know if his performance would then decrease because of that, like, or if he enter one of these teams and become disenfranchised with his role and like with the team performance, or if it's safer to pick Stingley, who's kind of like already been through that, like the highs and lows of being on success and then going to a team that's not performing as well. So I don't know. I mean, like it's a tough one, but I wouldn't take. I think that they're 1-2 right now in my eyes. Kyrie, I think he's like I said, he's really gifted, but no, he's not as gifted as these two guys. These two guys are the premier cornerbacks in this class, and I think this is a really good, not a really good cornerback class. I think the strongest position in this draft is um, the edge rushers, but it's a pretty good class in spite of all that. Let me know what you guys think. With that, I'm out. Peace.